how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. I am doing very well. I'm excited. I'm feeling a little bit rough this morning, if I'm being honest.
Lots of celebrating going on.
Feeling good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I was saying earlier, and I'm guessing you'll probably be on the same page with me on this. Last night's game was how I thought this series would go. I mean, obviously, I'm not an idiot. I realize it's the playoffs and unexpected things are going to happen. But just based on how this team has progressed in the last couple of months and over the last year, that's the performance that I expected to see from Edmonton. Where, you know what, listen, Los Angeles, the Kings, they're a decent team. They're not going to go away. They're kind of pesky. They're going to get back into the game. But still a dominant performance from the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, and started right from the opening draw, too, which I thought was important. Like last night, the Oilers needed to have a good start. Everybody watched Game 4 and saw what happened in the first period in LA. So the Oilers couldn't allow that to happen, especially at home. And they had a really strong start. But like you said, Locke, LA's not going to go away. They're not just going to roll over and die. And as we saw, they fought back with 2 goals in the first. And it looked like the Oilers just don't, like, they needed to defend, and it was just kind of like, how can you lock this up over the next 40 minutes? And they did. They got clutch goals from guys that needed to score. They got big goals. They got one off Hyman's face. Like, anything they needed, they got last night, and it was really nice to see.
Yeah.
At this point, so now we got a few days off, so we start to ask questions like this before the next game. At this point in the playoffs, take out Draisaitl, take out McDavid. Who is your Oiler MVP so far?
That's an interesting question because the Oilers have gotten contributions from all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gotten different goal scorers at different moments. Like at Game 2, it was Clean Costin. Last night, Nick Bukestad scored 2. Zach Hyman had been quiet, and then he gets the OT winner in Game 4 and then takes that one off the face. How about Evan Bouchard as well in the back end? He's been putting up points throughout the series quietly. He hasn't been perfect. Matthias Ekholm, an absolute stud on the back end. So I think that if you're going to take out the big hitters, that there are a couple of guys who can kind of slot
Even
in.
Kane.
Because Kane too.
Yeah.
He had the tying goal in Game 4. We were losing our minds at Crypto.com Arena. We thought that they were going to. We thought we were going to go down there and see 2 losses. So to have Kane score that clutch goal with about 3 minutes left in Game 4, and then the first one last night, there are different options, Grant. There's a bunch of guys who have stepped up in different moments, and it's been really nice to see because that's how you win in the playoffs.
My MVP is the combo of Bouchard and Ekholm as a pair on defense. I love that pair together. So those two together.
That's a good pick, too.
Yeah, that's my MVP.
Yeah. Mine
I
is...
do, too. And just the way that Bouchard has played since Ekholm has showed up just in general, like that pairing has looked really, really good.
Mine is the Edmonton Oiler fan that mimicked Will Ferrell last night.
I got to say, there was that, yes. So he also had the beard and the seat right at the glass. But
Yes!
I don't know how much they showed it on TV, but in the building last night, there were people with checker painted faces everywhere.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pictures.
That's awesome.
They got a Will Ferrell bump for sure last night at Rogers.
That's awesome. So we wanted to float this just because it's being talked about right now. It's quite a few years away, but where's your head at with the new arena in Calgary? Yeah.
Listen, if I, as an Alberta taxpayer, are going to be partially paying for the dismantling of the Saddle Dome, I feel like we should be allowed to steal things over the next 2 years. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I was on one Oiler Nation trip when the Saddle Dome shovel came home with us.
Well, I think we should all be getting a shovel the next time we go, you know?
They haven't been able to clear the snow for years since Cam stole their shovel.
I like that we call them out, too.
We did bring it back, to be fair.
Okay.
We did bring it back.
That's true, yeah. It did return to the Saddle Dome.
I like how everybody in Edmonton's annoyed that the government's throwing money at it when we get $0 for Rogers here in Edmonton. Yeah. Anyway,
they just needed Daryl Cates.
ultimately, though, like, let's be honest, the Saddle Dome's a dump.
Oh, yeah.
So if the Flames were going to stay in Calgary, which is what, everybody wanted, as much as it's fun to make fun of the Flames, that's what we all wanted, is for them to stay there. They needed a new rink, so they had to figure something out. The cost of it is just outrageous amount of money, but I guess it is what it is. I don't know if they're giving out freebies. Why not take the most?
Might as well take some money, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about it, too, if we can stay on sort of the positive side of this, because it's easy to make fun of Calgary, and of course, it's going to come up that Edmonton got no money from the provincial government for our arena, and they're getting $300+ million or whatever it is. But the other thing is if there is another building worth coming to Alberta for, it will actually bring in some shows we don't get, because what happens is when you're planning a tour, if you've got a building that's going to draw well in Calgary and a building that's going to draw well for concerts or shows or whatever the case might be in Edmonton, they look at that for bigger shows, right? So it's an easy route. It's much easier to travel from here to Edmonton than it is to go from here to Winnipeg, or you know what I'm saying? It just gives them another option to put some more money in the bank, and they don't have to travel as far. So it might actually benefit Edmonton a bit in that regard, right? For bigger shows, if they can. Anyway, how many years? We're obviously
quite a few years, 4 or 5 years.
Carts before the horse, big time here, but still.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know how long it takes, but yeah, you're right, Locke. I'd love to see some better shows coming up to Edmonton, and if this helps, like, great. Nobody wants to go down there and get asbestos, allegedly, in my opinion.
Formaldehyde bricks. All right, Oilers Nation playoff gear. You got some new stuff up there?
Nationgear.ca, where we get the oil up tees. Those are moving everywhere. I saw a bunch of them at Rogers Place last night. It was super cool to see a bunch of our tees just kind of out there in the wild. So Nationgear.ca, we got some new stuff up there. And go check it out. We've got a lot of different flavors up right now.
And watch party, again, we have to wait till Saturday because of scheduling in Los Angeles. Yes. But the next watch party for the away game on Game 6.
Yeah, so we're going to be at Greta on 109th Street. So if you want to reserve a table, and I encourage you to do so, because the first 2 parties that we've done so far for away games have sold out. So go to gretabar.com/book, get yourself a table, join us on Saturday. It should be electric on a potential elimination night.
There you go. Baggedmilk, Oilers Nation, thank you for your time.
Thanks, boys.
The Locker Room for Arden Roof Systems. Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.